morning, my name is Len. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is October 15th, 2020, and we're going to go back in time a bit to April when I started the rails, steps, side rails, whatever you want to call them, bump steps, I don't know, and how I constructed them using a few MacGyver techniques to bend 1.5 inch 8th wall tubing, so I don't have a tube bender. So I had to MacGyver some things using the Jeep, and you'll see. Unfortunately, some parts didn't record, so you can't see me actually doing it, but you'll get the idea. Yeah, you might consider it unsafe, but it worked. And I didn't get hurt, didn't break the Jeep. So we'll take a look quickly at how the rails came along and what I have yet to do to them. Okay, I'm trying to bend my 1.5 inch, 72 inch long piece of pipe. I need about a 22 degree bend. So stick it into the Jeep bumper hitch, put over top a steel rim. That's where I need my bend to go. Oh no, right here. Right here. So I should actually come up a bit. And I got a 12-foot long piece of heavy duty fence post for my leverage. Okay, so you can see I've got most of the bend already with the second and third piece of tape bar. That's my main bend. I just need a little bit further towards the end, which is where it welds onto the trailer frame up near the front. So you see I got a 12-foot piece of 3-inch fence post. That's my leverage. So it's sort of a MacGyver redneck setup here, and it actually works. You just have to be really careful. Don't put too much load on at once. So I'll flip the camera on here and bend that last piece. So this is roughly where the pipe will go. It's just I'll probably put some type of plate on it. Not 100% sure yet. It's not really for stepping on how you probably could here, but more for protecting the box. There'll still be probably 1.5 aluminum trim here, just for protection and sealing wood and whatnot. We'll see. That's roughly where it's going to go. There'll be probably about 4 braces that stick out in various spots. This is a scrap piece of the 1.5 by 1.5, and this will fit in like that, but notched out so it's flush. I don't want it 1/8 of an inch down, I want it flush. So I notch it out. So use a cutoff wheel, and a flap disc is used for when I start coping it. I'll show you how I do that after. So to secure my pipe in, I use a 2 inch by 2 inch angle iron and the 1.5 by 1.5, and I pinch it, and that stops this from rolling. All my cuts from coping and matching up with the under piece, I use the center line of the I call it the center line of the tube. That helps me keep things square whenever I do my coping and try to match things up. So I always have this facing up. Gonna make my first cut here. So I made that cut. Probably won't be perfect. That's why I'll then use the flap disc just to trim it. But that's how that will go. That one's actually not too bad. I'll trim it down a little bit around the corners here, so when I weld it, everything fits more square. And this will get welded, and this gets bolted to the main frame. So I'll just trim it up a little bit with a flap disc. Always safety. I can't see it. Safety. Oh, need to plug that in. And that's how that will go. Get a couple tack welds on. So that's the frame end. Okay, what I have to do now, this is my side rail. This is the top edge, and at the back fender is the pipe coming off this way. So this is outside the wheel. So what I have to do is cope this piece of metal to fit around here. So you almost want like a tongue here and a notch out on this side and that side to fit around here to give you a nicer weld. Normally we'd use a hole saw or a coping tool mechanism, whatever. I don't have that, so there's a way to do it using a grinding disc, or cut-off wheel. So what I do is draw my center line. I know my 1.5 inch tube, you take a third of that, I believe it is, can't remember exactly. So you square this up, turn it into 4 sections, mark it on the edge, marking on the sides. So now you have marks like that. So what we're going to do is with the saw is cut here and here to about a third the depth of 1.5. So 1.5 would be out here, so about 1/2 inch. So like so. So there's my 1/2 inch mark. Or about there. Same on the other side. Then you connect this line to that line and this line to the other line. Same on the other side. Sorry, being handheld here, so like so. Now I'm going to cut this chunk out and that chunk out using a full blade, so you get one nice cut. Then there'll be a bit of grinding and flap disking to get it to fit better. So now you can see, oops, hold on here. So you can see what we have now, sort of a bit of a mouth that when this piece fits in, you can see how that's actually not bad. With a little bit of grinding and flap disc, that'll fit a little bit tighter. So now with a flap disc, and I use a used one because it gives you more of a curve, so you want that contour. So just get in here. That's perfect. So I'll go test fit this long bar to the fender, and if it's good, start tacking it in place. Okay, so here's the long pipe. It's cut here in an angle to fit under the 1.5 by 1.5. The 1.5 by 1.5 is bolted in 3 places to the frame so it can be removed. So that's all cut and notched out to fit properly. You might not be able to see it there. Yeah, sorry, it's dark. And I have it sitting level, and there's the coped part. So I'm going to tack weld there and tack weld it back here. Then I can fit in my 3 cross braces, which have to be coped and notched. And I'll tack all them. Then the whole piece can be come off and welded a bit better. Tack welded there now, and this will be trimmed along with the fender there. And it's tack welded back here, and the box here is lifted up so we can get at this weld better and drilling holes. So here's one of the other supports. So the notch I cut out to fit into the 1.5 by 1.5 up under. Probably can't see it up here. And this end is coped, so this will now fit. Let me just make sure it's in the right spot. And there it is. Wedge it in there. That's all it gets caught. Just slide it back to the square. There we go. So now I'll tack weld it here. I ground this down a bit with a flap disc. So I'll tack it here, a couple spots on the inside. Move on to that. Here's a couple of those welds I just did. Scrape them off here. Oh, not too bad. Oops, there we go. This one over here is a bit bumpy. I grind quite a bit and then come back and I'll fix where I think's not adequate. Okay, today I'm going to be working on some more of the side rail / step, rear bumper, back step, all that. Just get pieces cut. I've got a 90-degree here, which is going to go about here, about 7 inches back. So I need to tie into this piece up here. This is going to get drilled out and bolted to the fender. Helps keep everything nice and square. That's where the back of the fender will eventually be trimmed. So start working on some of that. All right, I have to attach. Give me the length off from this end here, hooks to by the fender, and then here this is the seam. This is the 90-degree, which will be the step behind the box. So I need to attach these 2 pieces. Unfortunately, I don't have a piece of pipe to slide in between. So you put a pipe inside, drill some holes for welding, and then weld around the seam. My metal store is behind an order, so I can't get a piece. I'm gonna get like 4 feet of it, so I'll have pieces for any other use. But I really want to get this side designed so I can do some major welding this weekend. So what I've done is I've taken a little piece of pipe that's too big and ground it down some, and cut slots in it. So now I'll pound this into one of the pieces of pipe. That'll squeeze and fit real tight. Then I will cut it to length so I have another inch or so to go into the other piece of pipe, and then I'll slot it and grind it some more, and then pound them together. Pipe ground down, slotted, the other pipe going on. I've drilled some holes. That'll be for welds, but I'll also be able to see how deep my other pipe is. So I'm hoping to get it into about there. There we go. It's in about that deep. Oops, sorry, out of focus. Yeah, so it's in about an inch, inch and a quarter. So now I'm going to cut this to about there, and then slot this one and put my other piece on. Okay, so I have to line everything up here prior to trying to pound this other piece on, because I don't want to try and twist it after it's on here. So, and the harder part of pounding it on is I already have this pipe coped to fit onto the cross pipe, so it's harder to actually hammer up on the top there and hard to hammer on a corner. So I've made my center line here on the pipe, and the same on the tube. So when I pound them together, I'm going to try and line that up. Okay, so there we have it. Weld spots all pounded in together. I'm seeing the inner sleeve is past both holes, so I know it's in like deep enough. Same on the other side. So this will be ground down a bit and welded. And being that's my top, it looks pretty square. Might be a little crooked right now, but at least I can wiggle it a bit and get it perfect. Okay, so here's the rear passenger side corner. So from up here at the front, that's where the fender will be. That mounts to the frame with 3 bolts, 5/8 grade 8 bolts right through the frame. This is where the box is at, so it protects the box corner a bit. And then this is just contours it. This sticks out about 5 inches past the end of the box, which eventually, as it crosses the back of the trailer, will be a step into the trailer, and also a small step to access the roof. Welding's getting a little bit better. There's a lot of work to cope this to get this to fit. As you can see, that it's an angle, so it's coping a 90 is not too bad. Coping this is about a 15 degrees here, so that's not too bad. This took a little bit of work to get it to fit. Had to weld in a little bit of the gap that there was. So after I'm gonna test fit it as soon as it cools down. All right, so there's the rear corner piece all welded in place. So do one bolt into the fender, maybe 2. I just need to grind the welds. And look at it from the back. It sort of curves and blends in here. It'll be ground down. So it positions it, protects that plywood. There will be a 1/8 inch. There's going to be aluminum siding, and then 2x2 aluminum corner. This is strong enough you can step on this. This is secure. So that's about 4.5 inches out from the back frame, and that's going to extend all the way across. So that took a bit of work there, but I got it. So that was basically the construction of all the rails or side steps. The tubing part or pipe part of it. I'll show you a quick overview. So here's a quick overview of the side steps, bump rails. I still have to do the heavy welding on it, so I have to move the trailer closer to a power source. You've seen in the past I've been using a 1000-watt power generator that gets my Mastercraft 110 or 120 volt 20 amp welder. Gets me to tack it all together. So here's the rails. So I'm gonna move the whole trailer soon, and then I can do some much stronger welds. The generator burps every once in a while or hesitates giving me power, so the welds are not fantastic, but they're great for tacking and that. So there's a bit of work to do. I need to weld these brackets on better. There's a couple there. Fenders are just in place just to help me with making sure everything's lined up. The back, there's one corner, back corner's on. Not 100% sure how I'm designing the back bumper slash step. That will come later. Maybe I'll put a hitch receiver off the back, and that's where a step will slide into. It'd be nice if I could make it to fold up so it sort of blocks the door. A security, you know, we'll see.